we're good. So I have the conclusion, and I'm planning on writing it tonight or tomorrow whenever everything's good to go.
Anna, have you done? I haven't looked at it. Have you posted yet? That one section you had. I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I had my microphone moved. I didn't post it yet because I didn't know. Well, I didn't know where, so I can post right now.
If you just want to email it to me, I'll post it. That's
okay.
Fine.
Do you want right now or after we finish the?
You can send it now or after. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll try to do now.
Okay. So I already have Tammy's and Katie's. I'll get Anna's now. I'll add that to the document tonight. So then we're missing from Delia the header, the introduction, and then Stuart will do the conclusion. And then I'll send it out to everybody to look over and edit it again. And let me know what you think, and then before I submit it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I can have it to you by tonight. So I know you were going out of town, Alex.
Yeah, I'll have internet access. I'm just going down to BYU Provo, so I'll have some.
Okay, cool.
I'll have internet in the library.
Okay, awesome. Anything else we need to talk about as far as that goes?
I think it's pretty much good. Did he say we need 3,000 words, or was it 3,500? I couldn't remember.
3,500 to 5,000.
Okay. Should be able to hit it. Just got to at least hit 3,500. But it seems like the responses are pretty thorough so far, so we should be able to hit it.
Awesome. Okay, since we have a late start, we'll just jump on into the article and questions that we've been asking. So, first off, I put you guys into groups.
You're kind of quiet, Stuart.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. The first group was Tammy and Alex. Oh, awesome.
We'll harass you later on.
Wow, did I finally get here?
Yeah. Hi, Delia.
Oh, sorry.
Awesome. Okay, so Tammy and Alex, you guys had the first set of questions. They were, first, should Harris fire Stefanik?
Oh.
And then 2, what explains the pattern of improvements the plant has experienced? And 3, how effective is the approach been? So if you guys want to just combine to answer those questions, and if you want me to repeat them, I can do that.
I don't think you should fire him. I went back to reread it. I think that he's verbally given him warnings, but maybe he needs like a week off without pay to get him into the group, get him into the idea of, okay, this is the plan, this is what we do. Now you need to like get with the program or be on your way. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree with that. I talked about how he came from a family of Alcoans that had been there for generations, and yeah, I think a fear is if you just fire him, it's going to do a wonder on the morale of the entire group, and then you can ask yourself, great, so we fired this guy, a lot of people really like him, does that promote safety? I mean, at the end of the day, is everybody saying, oh, we're going to get fired? I mean, are they doing it out of fear all of a sudden, or are they doing it out of they really truly want to take safety precautions? So I think firing them would kind of create that place of fear. Obviously, you want to show that it wasn't okay, and I think Tammy had a great response as far as, yeah, a week off without pay, that'd be a good way to show, hey, we're serious about this, but you really don't want to kill the morale of the entire group or the line or whatever it was, because if you do, I mean, what's that going to do to the safety that everyone's going to look at it as, oh, we're going to get fired if we don't follow the safety stuff, and they're not going to have a good attitude to really kind of catch that fire. So I thought Tammy had a really good response as to what to do.
The next question that it asks you is, what explains the pattern of improvements the plant has experienced?
I guess I can start this one. The kind of to back it up, the case I found was super interesting because I had read a book a couple summers ago that talked about this CEO that came in Alcoa, and the book's called The Power of Habit. And it talked a lot about how stockholders and a lot of the major stakeholders were really scared when he talked at the first annual stockholders meeting and said, my number one priority is safety, and everyone thought that he was going to give this giant spiel about what he's going to do to increase their revenues. And I mean, he talked about safety, but in the end, it was amazing that the reason that the company did so well is he said anytime there was a safety incident anywhere in the company, it had to be reported to him within 24 hours. So even if some little line worker at this plant got injured, his boss had to call all the way up to the CEO and say, hey, this is what happened. And it established means of communications throughout the entire company. All of a sudden, everyone started reporting to their managers what was happening, and it really created this effective flow of communications. And the company started doing extremely well. Not only did their safety go down, but the revenue shot up because the company was more cohesive as a single unit. So I think the CEO, I mean, him going in there and really pushing the safety, and then Linda, I mean, her job was to push that. She was creating these patterns that hopefully would create change. And it was hard, and it took a lot of time, but it seemed like it was working, even if it was slowly in the beginning.
I think that answers the third question. Tammy, do you have anything to add?
Just that having to report to your CEO also brings it's that important to him. So, and it really means that the employees are that important to him. It's not all about the money, it's about the people. And once that they understand it's about the people, the morale increased, and that's what motivated them to be more profitable and less less injuries.
Thank you guys. So group 2 was Katie and Samantha. Or I guess I should just say Katie. But I can answer things. So the first question that is asked is, what are the major opportunities for improving safety at Mission Valley over the next 2 years?
I guess from what I came up with, I was trying to read all of the comparisons for their safety stuff. I mean, a lot of their safety issues are like 50-50. They're 50% stupidity. And not to say that they're not preventable, but in all reality, like they're things that I don't know how, if they didn't prevent them already, I don't know what they're going to change in order to prevent them. I mean, it's like someone stepping down a ladder and they missed the step, somebody reaching over a roller bar and touching the bar, that might be one where, I mean, I don't know, is the bar supposed to be turned off before you reach over it in order to fix something? Why was he reaching over the bar? Is it, I don't know, I guess some of them you need more information. But most all of these, I mean, this guy, he was mixing with a mortar mixer, beating on the top with a crowbar while the mixer was spinning, and the crowbar kicked up and hit him in the side of the face. I don't know how you fix stupid on that. I'm sure there was a policy in place for that. I'm sure the policy told you to lock out the equipment. I mean, so some of these is just kind of rough to figure out how you would change more of what they're doing, It seems like they've put a lot of stuff into place. I understand how they, yes, I understand how they don't want, they want injury levels to be 0. I totally get that. But again, some of these I just don't understand what they would do more to change it. So, I mean, it was like hard to figure out what more improvements they could do. And then I guess for the second question, what major obstacles to that improvement? That's the stupidity part. Yeah, see this guy, he was taking the inspection plate off, the plate slipped, and he stepped back to avoid being hit, and he backed into a spout, and he burned his arm. Well, is it a two-man job then? So somebody else holds the plate, and then he fixes? I don't know how to fix some of those.
So if any changes were to be made, is there anything that you would recommend?
I don't know. I mean, the only few of these that I could see would be if they did some of them as two-man jobs, but that just seems like it's a waste of man time to have two people doing some of these. I mean, it also just needs to, I don't know, needs to be something just implemented, I guess, too, that I don't know, if it's a stupid injury, you don't get paid for it.
You're suspended or something like that.
I don't know, but you can't really do that. So, I mean, that doesn't really, I don't know. It's just hard. I mean, this person slipped on grease and water on the floor. So that's a safety one. I mean, why was there grease and water on the floor? And why did you stepped over the grease and the water. So you let it go, and knowing that there was grease and water on the floor, you didn't have somebody clean it.
Right. I think of one point in the article where I can't exactly remember who it was, but he had been there for a long time, and he pretty much said, like, some things we really take seriously, and sometimes some things we just kind of let go. So I think that that's something that they could improve on. But then again, how do you change attitude,
Right, and I think of that as almost like that clutter pile you have at home of mail, that
Yeah.
you just don't even notice it after a while until somebody's coming over, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and then you get more cleaning done in that 30 minutes before somebody comes than the entire rest of the week, like that you were at home. So I don't know if you just have a set inspections to where, I mean, I know that it sounds really weird, because it's a McDonald's, but there's a McDonald's here, and there's this a group that owns a franchise, and so they own a whole bunch of McDonald's. And my sister used to work for the one franchise, and then the McDonald's that's closest to my house, surrounded by ones that are owned by the other company, is owned by corporate. And it's horrible. Like, it's dirty, it's everything. Well, my sister, I would drive, actually, if my kids wanted McDonald's, I would drive to the other McDonald's, even though this one I could walk to. I would drive to the other one. And I asked my sister when she was working there, like, why was the other one so clean and this one's so dirty if they're owned? And she said that, first off, the ownership and the owners of her McDonald's do these safety inspections and these health inspections all the time. And if they don't pass, they don't get their bonus. So, like, they're so serious about it. If they get too many complaints in a week, they'll lose pay. If they get too many complaints to a single person, that person gets let go. If they fail an inspection, then somebody gets in trouble. So, I mean, maybe having set inspections in place might help more. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Like, the consequences, like that McDonald's.
But she talked about how much they would clean, like, the day before an inspection, and they had an inspection, like, every week. So it's like they were constantly scrubbing stuff and cleaning.
It's like white glove at school, though. You
Right.
didn't clean your apartment until you were going to move out. Then you have the
Right.
Then they steal your deposit. They say it's
Yeah,
dirty.
there you go.
Awesome. We'll move on to the third group. That's Anna and Julia. Any questions? So the first one, what position should Merton advocate, if any, in the 9 a.m. meeting with Kevin Harris?
Anna, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. I think she will sustain Stepanchik. I can't pronounce his name, but she can sustain the manager because yes, he have a little part of the I mean he's supposed to check with him if the worker know or don't know the safe issues, but it's not the entire his fault. I mean, I don't think he sent him to go there and to do wrong. I think he told him what is supposed to be done, and I'm pretty sure the worker was trained for the safety. So I don't think it's the only his fault, so he have to be fired because of that. Delia?
I would be interested to know, like Tammy was saying, or yeah, Tammy I think said, maybe to suspend him for a week or a day or whatever. They need, as a whole company, to realize how serious this is. Not necessarily to fire him, but is there something in their safety policy that says, you get written up, you get warned so many times, and then you have a week with no pay, or what is the policy? I don't think firing him is the way to go.
And also, I think another solution, it can be for him to be transferred, to have like transferred from the manager job in another job with, less pay, and
yeah, but who wants him on your team? I don't know. That could be a possibility, that you work in another department for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for him to be punished because of that, because this is the third time when was happening in his department and things like that, so he need to learn. But for some reason, some departments have much more issues and accidents than other departments. That must be not only because of the safety program, or the rules are not the same everywhere, but because some places are more I mean, the accidents can happen more in some departments.
So, you guys agree that Stefanik shouldn't be fired, but the question asks, another question asks, what are the implications for workers, families, supervisors, and senior management if Stefanik is fired? And it's interesting because it sounds like that whole town totally just evolves around the company Alcoa. So, what do you guys think?
I think it's going to be a big hit for everyone if he's fired, because he's a very good manager, and I think it's a set for the company. And of course, he have family. Of course, they will be affected if he will be fired. So the impact is going to be big to everyone, including.
Well, I think part of this too goes back to one of you guys was saying how the other guy was trained too.
Correct.
So he shouldn't have been doing something that he thought wasn't safe or that he was getting injured on. B, what incidents happened in the last year? Were they out of his control or within his control? Just because 3 things happened in my front yard. It doesn't mean that any of them had anything to do with me. They could just be, again, people being stupid and not knowing how to use stairs. But then again, also you have the third part of that. Were these documented that you talked to him? I mean, you can't just fire him if I told him that these things shouldn't be happening. Well, that's great. So where is it written down, and what did you do before? But I mean, a week seems a lot of suspension if you don't know the rest of the situation. I mean, maybe, you need more facts. It's like you always need more facts in most of these situations because you don't know what's going on. But all of those things need to come in play here too, because again, the guy seems to be a great manager. Everybody seems to like him. He got the job for a reason, and maybe none of these safety things have anything to do with him.
And there was
He's probably not trying to hurt people. He's not going around with a crowbar hitting people.
There was another incident where Harris wrote up a manager, and the manager realized that this was an important thing, and so things turned around with just a write-up. So I was kind of going on the extreme of, suspending him for a week. But, that I think that would wake him up. But I think how it rolls downhill, well, maybe this needs to do the same thing, and maybe the manager needs to get a write-up, and so does the person that did it. If they find out that it's his stupidity error, have a day or two off, just to show that it is serious.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also thinking firing him is more like the other guy is not assume his responsibility for what he did. I mean, hold somebody else, hold the manager responsible for other one mistake is not appropriate to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the message that would be sent if they did fire him wouldn't be a good one. There's other ways around it.
I think a message does need to be sent though, because it was a big problem and could create some more. If you send a message, you give them a day or two off to think about it. That's going to get around the town. Everybody's going to go, whoa, let's get on board with this and let's be safer.
Yeah, I think going along with that, I mean, the very fact that the CEO, he talked about safety, it wasn't, I mean, obviously he was focused on worker safety, but it wasn't just that. He wanted managers and everyone to kind of look at the inefficiencies of all their processes. And so as soon as they had to stop and say, okay, is this safe? I mean, they started looking at, okay, maybe it's not safe, but this is what we can do to make it safe. And then they noticed, oh, maybe we could do this to be more efficient. I just remember reading from that book that, so the CEO, he talked about the safety, and 1 year later, this company, Alcoa, they had the highest revenues they had ever had. And the CEO, he talked about it. He said it's because everybody had these habits, and he was trying to disrupt those bad habits that they had created. One of the ways was safety, because there were so many safety issues, and he figured if he could disrupt the habits, if there would be other habits within the company that would be disrupted, and maybe it'd make them question what they're doing. As soon as they started doing that, they started questioning their processes along with the safety, and then, I mean, and that's when they really started becoming more efficient and open-minded. So it was really, for me, it was so strategic, and I mean, the guy was a mastermind to talk about safety, because you would never think safety would, I mean, turn a company around and produce the greatest revenues they've ever had.
True. It's pretty neat. So the next question that it asks outside of groups, just as a whole, is what has Mission Valley done in the past to improve its safety record so much that they have so few serious injuries compared with similar companies? So one thing I can start, one thing that I think that Alcoa does well is that they pay attention to details, and when something does go wrong, they take action right away. They don't mess around. They have the attitude that that one injury is enough and one injury is way too many. So I think just a willingness to change and adapt is something that other companies that are similar to them don't have, and obviously makes them effective.
And they're willing to take some flack. I mean, who wants to drive around at, what, 4 miles an hour? But it's important, sit back, enjoy the cruise, be safe, and then they made places for where just the pedestrians are going to be. So it's still, all of it again goes back to, hey, you're important, let's see what we can do. And the guys were worried about everybody else saying, hey, check out how slow those dudes are going. It's because they have to. Their motors don't run more than 5 miles an hour. So.
So, what specific things did the company change to make them more successful?
The company was willing to invest $4 million in safety, which to me is a lot because usually not every company want to do that. They provide good equipment and training and everything. So to me, only like Katie said, only the stupidity things can make them have accidents like that, because they should pay attention. They are not working in that company for 2 or 3 days. They are working there for years, and they know better than anybody else on their workplace what they should do and what they should not do to stay safe.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. The next question that it asks is, what are challenges that the company will face in the future with safety, if any?
One of the challenges it talked about, it seemed like, and one of the managers or the people, one of the meetings talked about, he said, you couldn't even imagine the places that I go into. And it talked about how there were so many crevices, and I mean, just so many places. It's hard to make a place dummy-proof. So I think they can only get it so far without spending so much money that it's no longer worth their money. They just have to help the people understand, create a culture of safety. Because without that culture, people are just going to keep on doing it because they think they're tough, and they don't have to put their gloves on or their eyewear because they're tough and their grandpas didn't do it or whatever it was talking about. So I think just continue. I mean, the places that you can do it and everything else, continue creating that culture of safety.
Thanks, Alex. So one thing that comes to my mind when I read that question is just exactly what you said, pretty much overall behavior. So is there any way to convince people to behave differently, to change their behavior?
I think they just need to understand that their job's in jeopardy if they don't. Because if you just pass the blind eye to it, then it doesn't. You're right. I mean, it just doesn't matter. They're just going to keep continuing it on. So, I mean, again, I think they just.
Do you think that there's like a way to, I guess, motivate workers to be safer, or would it just kind of be like a scare tactic, like you need to do this or else?
No, you have to follow through with it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think maybe that's why this gentleman, the manager and the employee, need to have some disciplinary action rather than just more than just be written up. A day or 2 off would make everybody maybe step back and say, whoa, I don't want days off without pay. I'm going to be more careful.
Choices have consequences. They don't have to be bad. They could be hey, if we can go, a month without any accidents, then maybe we can have a barbecue at the end of a Friday afternoon.
Right.
I think having accident and having pain, of course, and suffering is enough punishment for them. So to me, I mean, I don't want to be in any accident when I'm working or even at home or even, you know, when I'm driving, or because I don't want to suffer. I don't want to have pain, you know. But yeah, in this particular case is I think is not enough. I think they need a little more punishment for that.
All right, we'll wrap up with this last section involving Linda's plan for 1992, safety plan for 1992. And so it's, if you have it open, it's Exhibit 11 on the thing. But there's pretty much like 7 points that it lists. The first one is to monitor complete implementation of recommendations on falls, establish reporting procedure, and provide detailed tracking and report. Second, conduct training for everybody in the company, including operators and supervisors. Third, publish newsletters that involve this overall safety in the plant. Fourth, improve the safety committee with more information and better training. Fifth, hire more leaders at crew level, or I guess promote leaders at crew level. Six, establish a safety recognition program. Give awards to people who perform well, perform safely. And then last, meet with superintendents on a basis to review safety performance. So of those 7, I know it might be hard if you're not looking at them and only heard me repeat them to you, but are there any that you feel are really going to push the company towards their goal of zero?
I think trainings don't have to be boring. I mean, especially if you bring food, donuts or snacks. But or you know, we have a risk manager at our department, and she's a riot. She brings healthy foods. You know, she'll get those oranges. You know, if somebody says the right answer, she tosses them an orange. So you know, she makes it fun. And I think if they know that they're going to learn something, and you know, just be reminded, you know, you could ask them, I just want you to take one thing away from this meeting, you know, and then maybe supply a little short one thing survey. What did you take away from this meeting? And turn it in. Or, but I think if you continue with the trainings, it's continuous. You're always learning something, and if there's something that comes up, have a suggestion box and say, hey, can we learn about this? Or this guy's being really dumb. I think we need to, you know, talk about this again. Or so.
Yeah, I think on that same point, that was number 5. Talks about establishing the safety recognition program, awards and dinner based on performance improvement, make it fun. Well, I guess that wasn't necessarily, I heard Tammy's was about training, but I think, yeah, if they had this giant banquet and for the groups that did really well and they didn't have any safety issues, and it was a dinner and they had fun and joked and maybe brought in some entertainment, I think it'd be a great opportunity for everyone to see, hey, wow, we're being safe, but at the same time we're rewarded for it. I think they would really enjoy that, whether it be in trainings or even outside of trainings. A formal dinner, it could be pretty fun.
Awesome. Last question. We'll wrap up this with this. It's almost 8 o'clock here. If there's anything missing from the list, what do you think it is, or if anything could be added to the list, taken away? What would it be?
I'm not really sure on that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the list is missing the consequences of not following a procedure. I mean, I would rather have the consequences than a safety newsletter. Nobody's going to read a safety newsletter, let's be honest. I mean, I barely read the newsletter that I help write that goes out. I mean, I wouldn't even look at it if I didn't have a choice to. So, I mean, I'd rather have a step in there that what are the consequences of not following the plan, or have, you know what I mean, something like that. Because they have in step 10, they have a resolution procedure. And it's basically like talk it out, plan it out, talk it out again, plan a little bit more. But there's nothing in there that talks about what happens if it's not followed. So I think they need that.
I agree.
They each have to be responsible too. So are there benefits or consequences for that?
Right, because when you're looking at like number 5 has to do with what, like the serious injuries and then what's causing the serious injuries. I mean, there's a few in there. There's one that was operating without training. Okay, that has to be addressed. There was one that was nullified the safety device. Well, you lose your job because, I mean, I know you got hurt, but at the same time, you stopped our safety procedures. Or somebody did. That person needs to go.
Yeah.
There was one that the power was on. Well, they talk about having a lockout procedure, so obviously they didn't follow policy. Now, a bunch of them, like the most, were from improper position, which I figure is probably a lifting issue. And not to say that you can't get rid of those, but obviously that's something that comes with. They've got people that have worked there for 20 years. I mean, they got to be, getting up there in age, and they're probably still lifting the same things. I mean, my dad is an old man, and he is lifting some stuff all the time at work, and he knows he's not supposed to, but he just does it because it's faster than having one of the other guys do it. And again, that's stupidity, and I have no problem calling him out on it, but
doesn't change his mind any.
No. But I mean, again, some of these obviously, I mean, there was 7 that was failure to secure. Okay, well, if you know that they had failure to secure, then again, they didn't follow a procedure that was already put in place.
Right.
So those are ones that you could get rid of by having the consequences, and they've gotten them down. I mean, from 89 down to 7. So they're fixing it. It's just people are still going around it, and those people need to have the consequences.
I agree.
Yep.
Awesome. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add?
Nope. Who's doing it next week?
Alex, it's going to end up being you because I haven't seen Samantha in weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll just plan on doing it unless we hear from her. So Samantha, if you watch this, let me know.
Yeah, so if not, we'll just start the rotation over and it'll go to Alex.
Yeah, I'll plan on it.
Did everybody watch the video from last night yet?
No, I haven't. I've seen part of it.
I got an invitation from him at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
From the previous, I didn't know, so I'm just watching that whole class, and then like at the end of it, he's like, so I've got another class where the teacher dropped out partway through. I'm like, wow, he has another one. And then I see like a little later on, emails from Katie, you and Tammy, and I'm like, oh, I think I was watching the wrong class.
You were. So he put our doohickeys thing is not due until Monday morning now.
Oh.
And I think that's your other class.
Oh, okay.
You can go if you need to.
Yeah, and
just answer your other class.
And remember to send me that part if you get a chance.
I think she already did.
I just checked my email, it wasn't there.
Oh, I thought I saw it, but
If you did, forward it to me because I wasn't in the email.
okay.
Thanks.
I'm doing the intro, so I will get it to you as quick as I can.
And
Great.
and I'm still not able to open up the link that he sent out again.
Oh,
Really?
I think I did. I actually was able to. He sent it to me another way. Hold on.
Yes.
Because I was able to open it, but I was on my phone, and so I just closed it out because I didn't want to read on my phone.
Okay.
It was like through our class part, not on Google.
Yeah, but I looked at it and it said C, like it's from his computer, and I wasn't able to
Right.
open it.
Oh,
Oh, weird.
Go up? What'd you
I
say,
was
Delia?
able to open that one in the classroom setting part.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know. I'll try sending it out again and make sure the link's editable for everyone.
No,
Edit.
not your
Not you, Alex.
I
Oh,
liked his
yes.
intro. It was about 3 sentences long.
It was the doohickey, the one, the A doohickey from the other class that I was talking about. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that one that wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
In
Delia,
iLearn, in our iLearn part with our class schedule and things, and the assignments, he sent something in there that I was able to open and read about the
Okay.
doohickeys.
I'll go look.
Hold on, let me see, because I swear I got one of them to open. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, you're right. The one that he sent me last night didn't open either.
But I comment on the first one he sent. I wrote a comment and I said that I'm not able to open it, but
Nobody was able to open it. It's not you.
And he sent a couple more, but I can't open them either.
Yeah. But that's why he gave us until
Monday.
Monday to have it due.
no. I know, but still, if
If you want to stop recording, you can.
Yeah.